I feel like I met her before. It's fantastic. We were hanging out with an absolute legend. And I hope, before I even introduce her, I hope it's okay to use the word legend. Ladies and gentlemen, Dolly Parton is with us.
Well, thank you for having me. I've been called a lot of things. So I'll take legend.
Let me ask you, before we jump into things, you have this effect on people, and it's been talked about, but everybody loves Dolly. Is that a comfortable space for you to live in?
Well, I don't know that everybody does, but I don't want to hear about them. And I hope they don't show up anytime soon, not in the middle of our interview. Well, I love people. I've been around so long. I think people just feel like they know me because I tell everything I know. I talk about everybody I know. So I just think people just feel comfortable with me because I'm comfortable with people. I love people.
Yeah. Well, so I want to jump into your book. It's coming out October 17th. And this book takes us behind the scenes on all of your outfits and everything from music to award shows to all of that. Was that fun for you to kind of go down memory lane and see all those outfits again?
It was, and it took me behind the seams. See, it's a clever take on seams. It's called Behind the Seams, My Life in Rhinestones. And I thought, well, I think people would really enjoy hearing kind of what I have to say about the clothes that I've worn through the years and get a chance to acknowledge some of these people that have kind of helped make me who I am, put me out on stage, make me look the way I do, the good, bad, and the ugly, going back for 6 decades now since I was just little. So I tell stories about how I felt during the times I was wearing these things and getting a chance to interview some of these people that really did work on it or their families. Some of them's passed and gone now because I've been at it a long time. But I just thought it would be a fun book to have for people to look at.
And maybe you touch on this in the book, but does Dolly wear any outfit twice?
Oh, yeah, I do. I'm not one of those people. If I got something I like, I'll wear it out. You know, I've got pieces of things. I mean, like most people. But I do, and a lot of times when I've worn certain things, like a certain gown, I mean, those things cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to just toss that. So sometimes, like say, if I've worn a gown at one of the big shows, because I do concerts, I'll just have it cut off, make it like a shorter dress, and put a couple, change it a little bit, put a couple of, little appliques or some feathers or something on it. But yeah, I wear clothes a lot of times, twice, 3, 4, 5 times, especially stage clothes.
I feel like everything you've worn has always been so iconic, but I'm wondering, was there ever a outfit that you look back on and were like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have done that?
Well, when I was putting together all these pictures, and these pictures of me wearing these certain wigs and certain outfits, I thought, oh my Lord, what were you thinking? But I'm sure I thought I looked good at the time. Don't we all look back at old pictures and think, oh my God? And some of the hair that I wore, I mean, it was so big that I couldn't hardly walk around in it. And so, but yeah, there are a few things I thought, I don't know about that, but I must have thought it would look good at the time.
Right.
Is there, as we wrap things up talking about the book, is there an outfit that you almost totally forgot about, or a story that you forgot about a certain outfit that you were able to relive through this whole thing? Because obviously it's for the fans, right? But it's an opportunity for you to go back and look at the impact you've made and at certain points in your career too.
Well, I'll tell you the little dress that I wore when I became a member of the Grand Ole Opry. It's featured in that, and I wore the dress with a little jacket when I became a member, but I actually wore that dress that was underneath that same jacket, that same dress, on an album cover with Porter Wagoner, too. So that was an all-purpose, kind of a wearing something twice kind of a deal. And then the outfit I wore, the beautiful dress when I sang He's Alive, that beautiful pearl dress at the end where it's got like angel wings, and that was such a spiritual night for me singing that song, and that song had such an effect on people, so I'll always remember that dress too.
Well, now I want to talk about your album, Rockstar. It is incredible. I love that you decided to do rock music, because I do feel like country music kind of goes hand in hand with rock music. But what was the inspiration behind the album, and why was this the right time to put out a rock album?
Well, I always loved rock music. We all grew up loving Elvis and, Chuck Berry and Jerry Lee Lewis and all those people that were rocking it back then, Little Richard. I loved all that. And I'd often thought that I might do an album, a rock album, but then I started getting older and I thought I'd probably never get around to that. And then they went up and put me in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which I didn't think I'd done enough rock stuff to deserve that honor. So they put me in anyhow. So I thought, well, this is a perfect opportunity. I'm going to do a rock and roll album so I can earn my keep in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So that's what inspired it. But my husband of 58 years loves rock and roll. I've been with him 59 years. And so I thought, well, I'm going to do a lot of his favorites, and then I'm going to do some of my favorites. Then I'm going to ask some of my favorite singers to sing on it. And we wound up doing 30 songs. And so I'm really proud of it. I'll never need to do another rock album. Never done one before, so hopefully this will serve me from now on, even long after I'm gone.
The names on this album, as far as collaborations go, I mean, it's a mile long, from the Beatles to, I mean, Four Non-Blondes. I mean, you're all over the place. Who would you have liked to work with, or who would you have liked to have on it that it didn't work out, or you thought about it too late?
Mick Jagger, for one, he was willing to do it. We were trying to find the right song too, but he was in the middle of doing a secret album at that time. We were both. I met up with him. He was in L.A. when I was there. He came by and listened to some. They were doing a little sound check on. I mean, a little listening party on some of the songs that we had done. And then he was in Nashville for a minute doing something, and I kept missing him. But he's the one that got away. So I wound up doing Satisfaction with Pink and Brandy Carlisle, which I thought that turned out great. But I would have loved to have had Mick on. He was one of Carl's favorites and one of my favorites too. But maybe one of these days I'll catch up with him and we'll get to do something somewhere.
Well, one of my favorite collaborations from the album is with Paul and Ringo on Let It Be. I wanted, how were you able to reach out to them personally and ask them?
Well, I had been around Paul a few times. I'd done a few things with him, and we have some of the same friends, so we knew each other. But I had never thought to ask him to sing on. When I recorded that song, I thought, I wonder if Paul would be willing to sing on it. I hadn't thought of Ringo at that time. So I thought, well, would he? And I went through my manager and through his manager, because I didn't want to ask any of these people blatantly, ask them, because I didn't want them to say no if they didn't want to do it and hurt my feelings or put them in a bad spot. So I sent the message, sent a note, and he got right back to me and said, I'd love to sing on it, and I'll play on it if you want me to. And I went, oh, I don't want you to. Are you kidding? I mean, I thought that was like the most amazing thing. He was so generous, with his talent. And then after we did that, I thought, golly, Ringo's the only one left of the Beatles. Wonder if he would play on it. So, yeah, he said he would. So that was great that I got the two of them on that.
Well, and the project was put together so well. And you've done amazing things in your career. Obviously, you have a legacy in your music and in your entertainment in general. This fit perfectly for where you're at now. Did it ever feel like you were in a foreign space? I mean, country music lines are more blurred than ever right now, right? But was any part of you like, I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to do it anyway?
No, I felt I could do it, and I chose songs that I thought were more in my, what I could do with my emotion and with my voice range, which I have a good range. I thought, well, I can sing the notes. I think I can hit all the notes. But I wanted it to really be good, and I didn't want it to sound country. I wanted, because I never get to sing other people's songs a lot because I write most of my own stuff. So it was a joy to get to really have a reason to get to sing these great songs that I had always loved. So I just picked songs that my husband loved and that I loved, and I just went after it. And so it was great singing with some of these artists, trying to keep up. I was thinking, I got to give it my best, because I'm not going to let them outdo me, or I'm going to at least try to measure up to where people think, well, yeah, she did a good job on a rock and roll album. So I tried hard. I gave it everything I had, and I enjoyed it. It was a challenge, but a great one.
Now, so we were talking about kind of like that transition from country to rock music. You have original songs on the album. You've got 9 of them. Was that hard for you to get in that mentality of, okay, I need to rock it out here?
Well, I've had rock songs that I've written, like Baby I'm Burning, and a lot of stuff that I've had, even dance records, and I've recorded rock things in and out, but not a total rock and roll album with these great songs. So I I just thought, well, Kent Wells, who produced the album, did a great job. He's a real rock and roller, and he's my guitar player. So he was very good of really getting the right melodies together, the right rhythms, and all that. So he was the one that was great with that. And of course, I can write the lyrics to anything, and I would have some basic ideas for the melody, and then he could take it and make it really great, or he would just come up with a melody and I'd put songs to it. But then some of my own that I wrote, like Rockstar, the title song, I was just thought, well, how will I do this? I thought, well, I'll tell a story about a little girl, like a Joan Jett, who was on the album with me. And I thought, I'll tell a story like how she might have felt when she was practicing her rock and roll, and you know, her mom and daddy screaming at her to turn it down and all that. But I'm going to be a rock star whether you two like it or not, basically. So I thought I could do that. And so I just put myself in that zone, and I just stayed in it till I was done. I was a rock star. And even when I did the photos for the album, you know, I was trying to really wear great cool things that were really rocky and all that. Here at my age, I am a rock star. And I thought, well, I'm just going to enjoy every bit of this, and I have.
When it comes to the names that are on this album, and even, I mean, you've collaborated with other people. We just did a special with Chris Janson not long ago, and you're on a song with him and Slash. What does it mean to you that you've made such an impact that names like, you know, Slash, and names like Chris Janson, names like the guys and girls that are on this project, when Dolly's name comes up, it's never a, can I do it? It's a, when does she want me?
Well, I really was honored that a lot of these artists were willing to work with me, and I was just as honored to get to work with them. So it was kind of a give and take, you know, with all of that. So I'm honored that I've been around so long that people kind of know me, and so they're willing to help me out like a relative. Like, oh, we got to help out Aunt Dolly or Sister Dolly.
Well, before we wrap things up, I want to ask you, because I find this really hard to believe, did you lose a Dolly lookalike contest?
Yeah, but it was a drag queen contest. But it was in a gay club years ago. I had a little apartment up above Santa Monica Boulevard in L.A., and every Halloween you'd see so many dollies and Chers walking up and down the street. And so my hairdresser at the time, David Blair, he said, you know, they have a contest down there. He said, and whoever wins it, they get free drinks for the rest of the night. Well, you know, it was just like they'd just walk across the stage and they'd judge them, the crowd. Yeah. He said, let's go down there. So he over-exaggerated my hair even bigger. I made my beauty mark bigger and just kind of, you know, did the whole thing. And then, of course, when I walked across the stage, and they're like drag queens. They're 6 feet tall anyhow, some of them with high heels. And here I come out, you know, little white honky, you know, walking across the stage. And I got just a trickle of applause. And we were dying laughing, so we had to buy our own drinks, so to speak. But it was just funny that I always just said I lost a Dolly lookalike contest. That wasn't fair, though.
49 albums deep, amazing collaborations, amazing songs. I mean, even your acting career, I mean, you've done so many amazing things. But just on the music side, are there projects that you are surprised worked? A song that you put, obviously you believe in it, but when you put it out that it connected so much, you're like, well, I didn't. Maybe somebody else's idea you just rolled with and it worked?
Well, you never know. If everybody knew what was going to be a hit, we'd all be rich. We'd all be hit writers. We'd all be hit artists. And I've often thought about that, but sometimes you just never know what is going to be a hit. And sometimes some of the fans' favorite things are just songs that were never a single that I do perform like on stage. For instance, like a song like Down from Dover or Applejack, you know, songs like that. So you never know what's gonna hit. But I know one song that I was so thankful that it did, and I was hoping and praying that it would, is when I left the Porter Wagoner show. My first million-selling record was Here You Come Again. And it kind of proved a point for me that I had made a right decision moving on when country artists or country people were saying that I was leaving country and all that I was betraying myself and the country and leaving the Porter Wagoner show, but I knew I had to go, so I was so hopeful that one would make it, because I didn't know if it was going to be a hit, but I was sure hoping it would be. So that was a great example of what you're saying, that it had the power and the impact, that it was a surprise, but a great one.
And now you've worked with so many different artists, not just on the Rockstar album, but throughout your whole career. I want to know, is there a collaboration that you just really hold close to your heart and forever will?
Yes, Kenny Rogers. I loved Kenny, and I think the song Islands in the Stream, which everybody knows and everybody loves, and I was crazy over Kenny. So I would think that that is one of the things that will always stand out in my mind forever, that I got to sing with a great artist like Kenny, a great guy like Kenny, and we became great friends. And Islands in the Stream, I never get tired of singing that song or hearing it. Do you?
No, it's the
No,
best.
everybody loves
Love
it. So that was an outstanding piece of music for me.
Unreal. So much fun hanging out with Dolly. She's got a book, she's got an album. We're going to link both, not only on the website, but on our Instagram as well. Dolly Parton, absolute pleasure. Thank
Well,
you.
thank
so
you,
much.
Wayne D, and thank you. I love you. You're so sweet. So, is it Tay?
Tay.
Well,
Yes.
Tay, I really enjoy being with you.
Oh,
Tay
thank
what?
you.
Tay what?
Just Tay.
Tay when? Tay what?
Tay
I love
win,
that
I'll take
name.
it.
What is the name of our group? Ain't there another person in country music named Tay and
Maddie and Tay.
Maddie and Tay? Yeah, I thought.
But she spells hers T-A-E. I spell mine T-A-Y.
Oh, okay. Well, it was good to see you both. and
Pleasure
thank
is
you.
ours.
Thank
Thank
All
you.
right.